Stemless Faceoff podcast. We have Joe with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
So Joe is a co-founder of Prosupps and among other companies. So he's going to tell us a little bit about his background and how did he get started with this whole movement of supplements. What was your first job?
Well, I think the first job probably was at the age of 12. We used to trade baseball cards, myself and a childhood friend. We would be dropped off by our parents at the Los Angeles Convention Center, and we would buy a table and buy and sell all day long at the age of 12.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. It was, I don't know that we would let our kids do the same thing today. But it was a different time back then, so no, we did that. But after college, we started our first company, or kind of during college, we started our first company at the age of 19, which was in the fresh juice and smoothie business. And by the time we were 24, we had 150 stores in 22 states.
So you're originally from California area? Where did you actually grow up?
Yeah, born and raised in Southern California. So I was born in the Valley, grew up in the Thousand Oaks area, attended Thousand Oaks High School before going off to college.
And you play sports?
Played baseball throughout. Loved the sport of baseball. As a child, played football and some other sports as well. But baseball was the passion, and really, thought, as a lot of kids do, that was going to be the eventual calling. But when you start your first company at 19, it kind of caused you to shift focus a little bit and realize that you want to go where you believe the money is.
So what got you into supplements? But before that, how did you get there?
Well, it's a great question. When I was growing up in Southern California, we'd actually, a group of us would go down and play racquetball in the Valley. It was at a gym called Racquetball World, and there they had a little, juice and smoothie bar that they would make, drinks. You'd get protein powder and so on, and we kind of loved that, and that really led to where we went with founding of Juice Stop, and then we grew that business, and when you're making smoothies, we're adding in supplements basically to every drink, whether it's protein or other vitamins, minerals, and things into the products, and then my childhood buddy TJ got really into kind of bodybuilding and big into the supplement space, and he was kind of the backbone of why we wanted to go here, and he had been working for another company and saw the success that he was having there and realized that we could do it as well, so created a brand and a business off of really what he had already done in the space, and then hired him 3 months after.
That's awesome. So from the juice companies that you developed, where did you go from there?
We went there, and then, so a really long story for definitely another podcast, but we decided to build out a distribution company to provide all the products to those stores. So we built out frozen distribution to carry frozen yogurt, sherbets, IQF frozen fruit, and that started to expand rapidly. So not only were we servicing the Juice Stop stores, we were servicing basically anybody else who had a juice bar, but then it evolved into, some things like we were even making all the bagels produced at Kroger, and all the Kroger banners were using our blueberries. So like we would deliver frozen blueberries to Kroger, and they would put them in the bagels, and so we'd continue to grow and grow and grow. And then in a very unfortunate event, we wanted to build out full national distribution so that we could handle some larger customers. We were talking with Starbucks, we were talking with Jamba Juice about doing some of their distribution, and we put 4 other distributors under contract to acquire, which would have gave us total US coverage. Now the only way to pay for that was we were going to do an initial public offering. So we filed for a public offering, I believe it was May of 2001. we filed with the SEC, and in August of 2001, about August 17th or right around there, third week of August, we left to go on a road show for 3 weeks to promote the company. And then, of course, 9/11 happens right then and there when we're in the middle of going public, and the entire thing just shut down. And it's a real challenge because when you're trying to acquire multiple companies that are more of these legacy businesses that have been around a long time, they don't understand the inner workings of public offerings and things of that nature. So what happens is we go to these folks, and if your public offering gets delayed, all the work and the money we've paid to have these businesses audited and all the diligence done to be part of an SEC filing, you have to go back and do it again. So it's called going stale. So once it goes stale, you got to go do it. And then you have to extend all the contracts with the folks you're trying to acquire. Well, the folks you're trying to acquire don't understand this space really all that well anyways, and they look at it and say, look, you didn't get it done, tough. So, yeah. So we spent about $3 million to do an initial public offering right in the middle of 9/11. Got to the point where we started Prosupps, which we started Prosupps kind of out of a lunch meeting one day at actually a Twin Peaks restaurant.
That's funny.
And lo and behold, we started the company and started really selling products in March of 2012. And we launched the Mr. Hyde pre-workout in June or July of 2012. And we took that business from 0 to $60 million in the first 4 years. And then we actually sold it to a private equity firm in 2016. So, good times, right?
So you have Prosupps. What are the other companies that you're working with right now?
Yeah, so we sold Prosupps in 2016, and then I joined up with a couple of other guys to found the business Strive, which is an air-dried meat snack company that produces biltong, which is an amazing product. Pretty much the cleanest, healthiest snack that I know of on the market. And we took Strive public in July of 2021. And at the time, meat prices doubled the month we're going public, which is so exciting. But Strive's done a great job, and I think the future for Strive is great. And I think Strive should hopefully be profitable, hopefully pretty soon. Meat prices start to cooperate, but Strive's distributed, in Walmart and Target and 7-Eleven and most of the major retailers around, the U.S. But really, my heart was back at Prosupps. So I left day-to-day at Strive in October of 2021. I'll get my year straight, maybe. Nope, 2022. And had an opportunity to get Prosupps back from the folks we sold it to. So I joined in January. At the same time, was actually completing another acquisition of a small brand that I'm a huge fan of called Quevos, which is a kind of like a pita chip. Instead of using grains and flour, we use egg whites. So it's high protein, low carb, tastes fantastic. So I made that acquisition, and at the same time got Prosupps back from folks we sold it to, and started building out our own platform to really take Prosupps to the next level, continue to grow Quevos, launch some new products and innovation at Prosupps, which we have done with MyBar, which is a 30-gram protein bar that tastes amazing. Brought our Hyde RTDs back to the market, which went right into 24-hour fitness, and they've already doubled our distribution in the first 30 days. And but really a lot of it was all centered around is that I had a passion at Strive to start another brand, and that brand is I want to bring something into the nutrition world that is more inclusive for everybody. I want to give people quality products and make it approachable, because for so long this industry has been dominated by companies that we scare everybody. We tell everybody that this product's called Kill Your Mother or Wicked or, I kid you not, there actually is a product on the market, and I'm not familiar with what brand it is, called Ape Shit. That's the name of a product. And I'm like, okay, to me, that's not inclusive for the masses. So I really wanted to do this at Strive, but our board, and couldn't align to get that opportunity. So I knew that with the structure of what we had at Prosupps, that we could do it there. So we've been working on building a brand for the better part of a year. We're working with the amazing guys who did our X-Bar and did all of our packaging for us at Strive. And it's really there to stand for something. I mean, so many of these companies, and ours included at Prosupps for years and years, we never really had a why. Why are we here? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to solve for? And I feel we have a huge problem in this country, which is obesity. And I do think that there's a lot of us as business leaders can do to help. We're not going to cure it. We don't need to be so crazy in our beliefs that we have that power as an individual. But if enough of us keep taking little nicks at it, we can make it better. So we want to make the nutrition products that we really like and we think are really good for people, we want to make them more approachable. Now, of course, we put one toe in the water, we end up going a little bit farther, is that we are doing that and we're making it approachable. And the new brand that's coming is called Groove and should launch sometime this coming January. But in addition to being fully loaded sports nutrition products, it is super clean, minimalist, very trustworthy, but it also has no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, and no artificial sweeteners. And instead of using plastic tubs, we're using bags. So everything that we're doing is to try to do the best we possibly can. There's a few brands out there right now going more of the minimalist or natural route, but I don't think they've done it to the point where they're still sacrificing the end quality product to the consumer. And I think that's something that we can do differently, is that we're not going to skimp on the product. There's some great sports nutrition products out there. There's great ones at Prosupps, there's great ones at numerous other brands as well. We just feel that there's ways we can do it a little bit better, and I think we can do it a little cleaner, and the last thing we need is a million more plastic tubs in our landfills. So if we can do it with bags, that's great. It's not been the most acceptable on shelf presentation in bags yet, but we're starting Groove entirely direct to consumer with both its own websites and Amazon. So we can utilize the bags for a while. I prefer them when traveling. I'll take my stuff that's in my tubs and I'll put it in Ziploc bags and carry it with me, just because I don't want the bulky tubs in my bag. Now, I do think that's where things are going. I'm seeing a lot more in the industry of brands using bags. You get a lot more marketing space, and frankly speaking, for the brand itself, it's a lot cheaper than having a tub, a neck seal, and the lid, and then the label or a shrink sleeve with it. So it's more cost effective. But I also believe that there's just no reason to continue having the plastic tubs.
Right.
So.
I love it.
Yeah.
So more eco-friendly,
Mm-hmm.
which is great.
Yeah.
Tell me about MyBar.
Uh-huh.
It's my favorite. I love it. It's so good.
So MyBar is an amazing protein bar. It's got 30 grams of protein. We currently have 3 flavors in market as we speak. There's a caramel craze, a peanut butter, and a chocolate.
Just in that order is my favorite.
They're
Just in that order.
they're crazy good. I mean, for me, why I'm so excited and supportive of launching it is there's so many protein bars that are offering anywhere between, call it 10 and 20 grams of protein. Now, I could live with the 20 gram protein, but they all kind of end up gravitating to the same spot, where you have these extruded bars that after I eat one, I'm just kind of like, ugh. Now, I have a sweet tooth, so I have no issues with candy, except, eating it. But I also look back in time to the more old school protein bars, when we were much, much younger, that were all in robe. They look like a candy bar, but they delivered the protein. Now, MyBar has about 4 grams of sugar per bar, so it's pretty low carb still, and delivers 30 grams, and the taste is amazing. And then so far, it's been launched now for a little over a month. We've already got 10,000 retail doors on board, which is a ton of distribution very quickly. And the feedback we've been getting from buyers and the brokers and everybody else is this is one of the best bars they've ever tasted.
Nice. It's actually better than Milky Way. And I love
The
Milky
peanut butter, the peanut butter MyBar is just crazy. It's
I like the caramel.
yeah, they're really really good.
They're
The
very
only way-
soft and yummy, and it's creamy on the inside. You had one, didn't you? I
No,
thought I gave you one.
no,
Oh, it's
no,
not.
she only keeps them for
I
herself.
must have ate them
The
all.
only way we can get them is ordering them. Can we go to a
Prosupps
store?
website.
Well, No store at
MyBar
this
is
point.
launching in a very large retailer on October 20th.
Ooh.
So that retailer is putting it into over 3,000 stores. They're also having a top secret flavor that's coming that will launch at the same time. So they'll have 3 flavors, including the new top secret one. And there
which
are
will be exclusive to them.
for about 6 months, I believe.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, then there's 4 convenience chains that have picked it up that total another 3,000 or 4,000 stores. Those all are going in over the next 60 days. So yeah, it can be ordered right now on prosupps.com,
Okay.
but it also can be ordered, or you'll be able to start seeing it on retail shelves here pretty quick.
So have you ever had to apply for a normal job, like a normal person, fill out an application, turn in a resume?
No, I've never made a resume, and I have never filled out a job application. I'm not really good at filling out applications in general anyway, but never done that. Never really attempted to. So, I mean, we've probably hired thousands and thousands of people, but no, never been one that's actually been hired. So, maybe next time I'll figure out a way to go get a job.
Do something with your life.
His
Do
next job
something.
is retirement.
Yes,
He will be applying.
I would like to apply for retirement. There you go. And by the way, if that was the case, I easily could fill out an application
Yeah.
or make a resume.
That will be his dream job.
Becomes
Yes.
more palatable.
Yeah, absolutely, I could do that for sure.
So you have 3 boys?
I have 3 boys. Their ages just changed again, and they all changed in a 30-day period, so I have to kind of keep tabs. I have a 25, a 23, and a 19-year-old, all boys. 25-year-old works for Prosupps and beneFIT brands, so he's on the sales team and sells into convenience, and I think he does some grocery as well. My middle son is in the Air Force, and he's working towards Air Force Special Forces. And then my youngest son just finished up his freshman year, I like to say for school and baseball at the University of Utah. And then he just recently transferred, wants to go play in warmer weather going forward. So he is now at Grayson College in North Texas, which is a very good junior college baseball program. But all 3 of my kids have gone to school for business, because we all like to always say they all went to school for baseball, but there you go.
Baseball, business.
They've all gone for business. And
That's
the one
awesome.
that's still there is still going for business, but yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
I see myself having ceviche in Costa Rica.
Oh my goodness.
Sipping on what? Pina coladas?
No, I can't do pina colada because I don't like coconut, but I definitely could see myself in Costa Rica. I've looked at houses down there for years. It's kind of like that bucket list item to do. Is his favorite place. I just spent a few weeks in Europe a month or 2 months ago, and saw a lot of the bucket list items I hadn't seen before. I got a chance to go to the Sistine Chapel and went to the Louvre and went to Mallorca and all those places, and I'll take Costa Rica.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Peaceful, quiet.
Yeah, and it's not close. I mean,
It's not a fast
no.
lane leaving type. It's
Always
more of a
prefer-
sedentary, laid back.
I prefer that real northwestern part of Costa Rica where it's just small surf towns like Tamarindo and Flamingo, and those areas up there are amazing, and little villages. Kind of reminds you of what California probably was 200 years ago.
So what is a day like in your world with so much responsibility as CEO level, like you wake up, what is your day like at the office?
Well, alarm goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning. Out of the house by typically 4:30, and I get to the gym at a few minutes before 5. That's a mandatory because I think I'd lose sanity if I wasn't able to do that. So I do that every day, weekends included, and I don't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, but so I do that there, and I'm typically in the office by 8:15 in the morning, and you fight what fire's burning brightest every single day, and you try to do the things that your mindset ahead of time told you that you needed to get done. And frankly speaking, I think I live on the Outlook calendar quite well. So if anyone ever mucks with my calendar, I'm in a whole heap of trouble. So that kind of keeps me telling me where I need to go and where I need to be there. And then typically at work in the office until unless I'm traveling, but work in the office till 6 to 6:30, and then typically go home, and I'll be getting texts, emails, calls until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then try to wind down for 30 minutes and start over the next morning.
Dream job.
It's the dream job everyone should have.
His actual dream job is retiring, but
Look, I think it's important for a lot of people to get just experience in different types of positions within companies, because people always look at it in not always, but a lot of people look at roles within a company, whether it's in a leadership role or in an operational role or a finance role and so on, and they always look at it and the grass is always greener. Well, grass is not always greener, and sometimes it's not about the money either. I mean, for me, I just want to see our businesses be successful. I want to see our people that we've brought on board and entrusted to all come together to build these companies to be successful, and you want to see them win. So, because if your team wins, you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to be in that kind of forefront position where it's about me winning. I don't care. I want to see the young generation of people that we have in our organizations come up and take our roles. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. Okay, I mean, certainly if I go back in time 20 years ago, I was going to retire by the time I was 30. I was going to retire by the time I was 40. Now I'm 51 years old and I'm still not retired. And it's like, gosh, where did we not go right? I mean, I'm not one of those guys that needs to work till I'm 70. It's not what stimulates me, mentally. So, I see it as an opportunity. I really hope. I think we have a really good core group within the company today of, mid-20s to early 30s. And I think those folks are going to take the leadership roles over time. And I can't wait to see that happen, because that will be the definition of winning. It's seeing them be able to, have great success. And in the fact, if you can feel you play a part, even a little part in it, then it's huge. That I'll take that more than adding a new customer or some kind of business accolade or some kind of an award or anything. I'd rather see the younger folks continue to thrive, because we got good ones, and there are actually tons of them. I go out to trade shows, especially in the snacking industry. A lot of the new brands are dominated by mid to late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of their first and second companies. It makes me think back to the times when we were there, and just how little we actually knew about how the business world really worked then. We were wide-eyed and bushy-tailed with bleach blonde hair and earrings.
Hi there. So Joe and I known each other for what, 10 years?
6, 7 years now, 8 years now.
8 years. It's just getting started with Strive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Strive.
Time flies, doesn't it?
He keeps me around for some reason. I don't know.
Well, time.
He's a glutton for punishment.
You start to lose perspective. Is that my childhood friends TJ and Derek, they're both brothers, and we all were together. At Prosupps, we were together at Juice Stop as well. And to think back, the three of us, we've been friends for 47 years. And I'm like,
That's unheard of.
That is.
and people go, how's that possible? Well, it just happened that I have a cousin that's also the same age as myself and Derek, and TJ is 2 years older than us. And we all grew up in Southern California. They lived directly across the street from my cousin. And we were all the same age in the same town, so the sleepover started at the age of 5. And we've all been, friends and frankly together ever since. So it's like, but it sounded like a lot of years when we were saying it was, God, we've been friends for 20-something years. Now it's like getting into the high 40s. It's incredible.
Lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
You're just brothers.
You're brothers at that point. There has to be some kind of common law rule.
There you
There's
go.
nothing you haven't shared at this point.
No, at that age, geez, no. It's
From
insane.
kids to growing up, teenage years, high school, college.
But even having a 25-year-old child,
How does that
So
happen?
you're
yeah,
a
25-year-old
I
child,
actually met you.
right, 25. And it's crazy. I still remember when we first had kids, and you have a single newborn, to the fact you have 3 and your oldest is 25, it's just like,
How do you go from here to there?
time flies so fast. And it's like, that's why, really, I think the best thing for me, and when I talk to people about what are you, happy that you've done, and what do you regret? And I always, I'm happy about the accomplishments, but I'm more happy about the experiences and the people that we've met along the way, because I don't go to a town I don't have friends at. And they're people that you can call immediately and pick up, like you haven't seen them in 5 years, but just like you saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
Because you can't be in a situation, there's no time to say you're going to call somebody once a week to stay in contact. It's impossible.
Yes.
It's just
It's
no
not
way.
sustainable.
No, and then once you're you're used to doing it, and then once you stop doing it, then it's like, okay, what happened? The friendship's gone.
Mhm.
So you just continue to live life, but when you come to a town, you say, hey, time for dinner, go out, get a cocktail or two or whatever. But so I think that's the stuff that I'm most happy for, is the people I've met. I look through my network of people now, and there's probably 15 to 20 billionaires in there. Some of the biggest business icons in this country, I've got a chance to spend time or talk with. They'll take my call. I'm just like, why are you taking my call? We joke around a bit, like the CEO of 7-Eleven, Joe Pinto, wonderful guy. He's a West Point graduate. He took a ton of time out of his schedule to counsel my youngest child on what it was going to be like if he wanted to go to West Point, where he had an offer to go play baseball for. So he got a chance. Joe Pinto did that for me.
That's crazy.
I get, I talked to the guy who used to run Oracle, Ray Lane. He's a super nice guy, but when I look at his Wikipedia page, he has accolades from 2 people on there. My accolades would come from family members. His accolades were Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Oh, sorry, and Larry Ellison.
Wow.
Those were the people that were tooting Ray Lane's horn. I'm like, that guy's talking. Ray, why are you talking to me? And there's so many that we got a chance to spend time with. There was Derek and TJ's grandfather, who we grew up with. He was a business icon. The guy's got one of the most amazing stories. He literally couldn't afford shoes, and he hoboed to the University of Colorado on a rail car with no shoes. Gets into the school there, walks on, and plays football. Was a 4-year starter at the University of Colorado. Played with these legends like Byron Whizzer White and Bud Wilkinson, who became a big U.S. politician, and eventually became a coach. Coached at University of Maryland, University of Oklahoma, and then became the first coach of the Baltimore Colts in the NFL. This is a guy with no shoes that does all this.
Oh my goodness.
And then he goes and gets a job at Miller Brewing Company in their marketing department. And he's the one that came up with the "Tastes great, less filling" slogan that Miller had. And then I think it was the late 50s or early 60s, he did something unpopular because Germans weren't the most popular in this country at that time. He bought all the rights to Beck's beer from Germany and brought German beer to America and grew Beck's into a massive company. But he was hobnobbing with George Steinbrenner and buying real estate all over. I mean, just a genius. Actually lived not too far from here. He actually lived in Boynton Beach. Had a big penthouse there on the beach, but also lived in Greenwich, Connecticut. But back when we were kids, we'd see commercials that would say, Beck's Beer, and then at the end it would say, Dry Beck Importers, Greenwich, Connecticut, on the commercial. And the dry was, his last name was Driscoll, Beck for Beck's, and he lived in Greenwich, so. But that
That's
whole,
so cool.
yeah, I mean, those are the kind of experiences that, make this kind of worth it, because, you get a chance to meet a lot of really great people.